Okay, before I get into this tutorial, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at George's Fades. But today I'm going to show you how to do a mid-ball fade with the curl sponge on top. So jumping right off the back, I'm going to go ahead and put in my first initial guideline. So in this fade, I'm just going to go ahead and put in my full guidelines, and then I'm going to go back and fade out each section one at a time. So hopefully it'll be a little bit easier to understand. Now with the blade all the way open, I'm going to create my second guideline going about a 1/4 inch above the first initial guideline. So what I mean by guidelines is creating different sections that go from short to long hair. It's just like cutting women's hair. The first thing you would do is section the hair off into different partings and cut it to the desired length. And then at the end you would come back and match each section to each other. And essentially that's what we're doing in fading. I'm just creating my different guidelines and sections, and at the end I'm gonna come back and just fade in each section to each other. Okay, so using my number 1 guard, I'm creating my third guideline, and you can already start to see the different sections of hair that we've created going from short to longer hair. And to finish off my fourth guideline, I'm using my number 2 guard. Now on this one, I'm not really looking to create a harsh guideline at the top. This one's just really to debulk and start to fade into the longer hair on top. So now I have 3 different sections that I created with the 0, 1, and 2. So now I can begin to fade out each line between each section. Keep in mind in fading, it's all about making a transition from short to long hair. Okay, so to take out the bottom line that I'm pointing out, I'm going to start with my blade fully closed. And the higher that I go up on the fade, the more that I'm opening up the lever. Each time that I go higher on the fade, I'm opening the lever about a 1/4 inch of the way. Because remember, we're trying to make that transition. We're not just trying to erase the bottom line. Because you can see that already the bottom line is being knocked out by having our blade fully closed and having it on 0. Now each time you see me pulling away from the head, I'm actually opening the lever 1/4 of the way open. Now I'm not going above the second guideline, because the minute we go above our second guideline, we touch into the second guideline, then all that's going to do is it's going to push our fade up even higher, and we don't want to do that. So now you can see my blade is fully open, and I'm going to stay right underneath the second guideline. I'm not going into it, I'm just staying right underneath it, just making sure everything's clean. And you can see we have a smooth transition now. But now in order to remove the line between the 0 and the number 1, I'm going to be using my half guard to erase the middle line that I'm pointing out. And this half guard should erase it right on out. It's all about knowing your system and knowing which guard fades into which. And as you can see, the line came right on out. But now to erase the last line between the number 1 and the number 2, I'm going to be using my 1.5. So far I've gone from 0, half, 1, 1.5, and the top number 2. It's like I said in my last video, as long as you know how to count, you're going to know how to fade. As long as you know that the lower the number, the shorter the hair, and the higher the number, the longer the hair. So in order to fade into the longer hair on top, this might be a little scary to some, but it's actually pretty easy. I'm not using any guards or nothing on my blade. I'm just going in freehanding it. And the reason why I don't use a guard is because if I were to use one, then that would take off way too much hair. And I'm actually able to control how much hair actually comes off by using this freehand method. Okay, so to me, a lineup is one of the most important parts there is. It really makes a fade pop out a whole lot more. Once you put the lineup in, you can actually see any little mistake that you missed, any little detail will pop out a whole lot better. And the clippers that I'm using, these are actually the Annie's TI liners, but these are actually modified. And what I mean by modified is that the teeth are set to where they can cut even closer down to the skin, and the tension screw is set to where the clipper has more power. Now I bought these from the Hair Tailor. You can find them on Instagram at the Hair Tailor. So if you ever need any good pair of trimmers, yeah, make sure to hit them up. You can see I'm just barely tapping on the line, and it's creating a smooth and crispy line. So yeah, be sure to check him out, and I promise you, you won't be disappointed by his clippers. And there you have it. The back taper is done. I feel like it has a smooth transition from short hair going into long hair. So you let me know what you think in the comments below. Now to start off the side taper, it's going to be the same thing as the back. I'm just going to go ahead and lay out my full guidelines first. Then I'm going to go back and fade in each section one at a time. Okay, now that I have all my guidelines put in, I'm gonna start taking out the bottom line. And once again, I'm gonna use my blade all the way closed, which is 0. And I want you to pay attention to how I'm not really exaggerating the flick on my wrist. I'm just making small C-stroke motions to erase the bottom line. If I got too crazy with it, then I would end up pushing my fade up way too high. And that's really what I don't want to do. I just want to keep it right at mid-level. Doing fades, I'm not gonna lie, it takes a little practice, but once you get it, you get it. It took me quite a while to figure out the system on how to fade. But like you see, I'm pointing out that to take out the line between the 1 and the number 2, I already know I'm going to use a 1.5. That's what comes right in between them. And believe it or not, but it took me forever to figure out that system. I used to just wing it. I didn't know nothing about my measurements. I would just go in and hope for the best. I would grab any guard and hope that I would take it out. But once you actually learn what guard takes out what, then it makes your whole fading process so much easier. Like right now, I'm fading out the beard, and I'm not using any guidelines because in my mind I already know what where my lever has to be to erase that line. And as you can see, like the beard is already faded. Like this takes literally like 5 seconds to fade out that beard. And of course, the faster you get it fading, the more clients you can fit in a day, and the more money you make at the end of the day, right? But you also got to remember, it's quality over quantity. Okay, but on this side, I'm going to do things a little bit different. I'm not going to lay out my whole guidelines to begin with. I'm just going to go ahead and make my different sections and fade them out as I go. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I really want you to see how easy it is. The way I do my appointments is I schedule everything 30 minutes apart. Every haircut should be done within 30 minutes. So like on this taper, each side will take me 3 minutes, plus the back side another 3 minutes, so that equals 9 minutes. So for the next 9 minutes, I'm gonna do the lineup and I'm gonna do the beard. And for the last 10 minutes, I'm gonna go back in detail. Because remember, you don't want to give a bad haircut, but you also want to do it in a timely manner to where you make money at the end of the day. You gotta set yourself up to succeed. When I first started cutting hair, it would literally take me like about 2 to 3 hours to do one haircut, and it wasn't even the best. But it was YouTube, it was going to classes to where I started getting better. And guys, if my videos don't like really help you at all, then feel free to go explore other YouTubers. There's so many people out there that will teach you how to do fades. For example, Chris Bosio. If y'all don't know who Chris Bosio is, he's literally changing the industry as we speak. He's created an amazing brand called Tomb 45, and if you don't know the story behind that, be sure to go check out his story. I'll be sure to leave the link below so y'all can go watch him. And follow him on Instagram at Chris Bosio. He's literally one of the best educators in the game right now. So jumping back into the haircut, I'm just putting the lineup, and like I said before, the lineup is what makes a haircut. So now with the lineup put in, you can see that the fade is already there, it's blurry. Let's go ahead and start on the beard. Now he is letting it grow out, so we're not going to take any of the length off. So what I like to do first is put in the lineup. And the reason why I like to do in the lineup first is because once you put the lineup in, then you can really start to see what's sticking out and what needs to be cut off. And his beard is really coarse, so a comb really won't go through it. So I just like to pick it out with my pick and going in with my clipper, no guard on it. You can see I'm just freehanding it and getting rid of any unwanted hair sticking out. And that's exactly why I love lining up the beard first, because you can really see any hair sticking out. Just be really careful when doing this, because the last thing you want to do is dig in too deep and patch somebody, because it will happen. But you can see me using my finger. I'm kind of using this to balance my hand so where I can keep my hand balanced. Now this is some shaving gel, and it is by Tomb 45 by the guy Chris Bosio that I was just talking about. Now this is some of the best shaving gel I've ever used. The purpose of the shaving gel is to allow the razor to glide a whole lot smoother on the client's skin. And with it being clear, it really allows you to see what you're doing the whole time you're lining up the beard. So whenever you use a straight razor on somebody, you want to make sure you keep the skin tight. And also notice how I'm just using the front corner of my blade. I'm not using the whole blade. Using the front corner really allows me to shape the beard into the way I want it. And it prevents me from shaving areas that I didn't want to cut. Just don't be intimidated by using a straight razor. It's really not that hard. And if you're worried about cutting somebody, nicking them, it's alright. I nick people every day on a daily basis, and I'm not scared to say that because it happens to every barber. Literally, I don't care how long you've been cutting, you're going to nick people. That's just part of the game. And once again, I'm applying 1045 shaving gel just to really allow the blade to glide on the skin a whole lot smoother. And I'm not sponsored by 1045, but I just really love their brand and I love their products and I love what they stand for. And to any new barber or new stylist, I really encourage you to go to different hair shows, go experience and go be around with different people that are at hair shows. Like, it's some of the most motivating things there is. Like, don't be scared to invest in yourself, invest in your craft, and I promise you it's going to pay off. Even if you're not a barber right now, and if you've been thinking about it, you don't need to be a barber to go to this hair shows and barber battles. Just go to it and really see what this industry has to offer, and who knows, you might fall in love with it and get in it, and you can be really dang successful in it. And what I love about the industry is that you get what you put into it. So now that I got him lined up, I can start cleaning him up. And you want to be sure you go that extra mile and really clean up their face. Be sure to get all the hairs off their face and off their clothes. That's just a really good way to let them know that you appreciate their business. And I am applying some product in his hair just to get ready to curl it with the curl sponge. And with the curl sponge, you want to be sure to apply plenty of pressure. That way the hair can go into the sponge. And also you want to be sure to, whether it's counterclockwise or clockwise, maintain the same rotation. That way you won't undo the curl. So here's the finished look. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And I am going to be dropping a video every week, so please subscribe and follow me on Instagram at George's Fades. Until next time, thank you.